Keep in mind that Tiger Woods' ex-wife, it's hard to imagine that it's been going on for so long, so try not to let out a gasp when you see her today. It was an extremely stressful moment for Mrs. Woods when she realized everything her husband was doing behind her back. Alan was hurt, humiliated, and betrayed, and the stunning discovery led to the divorce in 2010. The year 2010 marked the 12th anniversary of Tiger Woods' implosion. If you have been wondering what happened to Ellen after the divorce, you are not alone. Fortunately, we are going to satisfy your curiosity and learn more about Ellen, including what she did after the divorce and what she is doing now. Ellen wanted to protect her privacy and dropped out of the public eye when the divorce was final. The tabloids tried their best to dig up information or find her, but they were unable to do either of those things. Who was Ellen Nordegren before she became Ellen Woods? Pernilla Nordegren was born on New Year's Day 1980 and grew up in Stockholm, Sweden. Her mother Barbara is a politician and her father Thomas is a radio journalist. Both of Ellen's parents are influential public figures in her country. Ellen has an older brother named Axel and a twin sister named Josephine. Even though her parents were minor celebrities, they never spoiled Ellen or her siblings. They were taught early on that they had to earn their keep in order to pay for their education. Ellen and her twin sister worked at a supermarket. Because of this, Ellen was able to develop a sense of discipline that has served her well throughout her life. The big break for Ellen. Due to the fact that Ellen is both attractive and clever, she was able to enter into the modeling industry. The world's models are expected to be more than just attractive, they must also be intelligent, determined, and possess a robust personality. Ellen possessed all of these characteristics, and in the year 2000, she was able to secure her first modeling job. The fact that Ellen was selected to be the cover girl for the Swedish men's magazine Café Sport solidified her modeling career in her home country. However, it would be several years before the model became famous all over the world. In 2001, Ellen began her career in the United States by working at a children's clothing store called Champagne. It was during her time working there that the model became acquainted with Mia Parnevik, who was married to Jesper Parnevik, a Swedish golfer. The pair requested Ellen to work with their family as their children's nanny. At the time, she was unaware that the position would lead her on a journey that would forever alter her life. Despite the fact that Ellen had no idea what to anticipate living in a new nation, she nonetheless packed her things and said goodbye to her family. Journey accepted the job, which meant that she was required to relocate to the United States. It wasn't long until Ellen made waves in the United States, and her beauty and intelligence didn't go ignored. Ellen flew with the Parneviks, and it wasn't long from there. Despite the fact that many people experience discomfort when confronted with unfamiliar circumstances, Ellen is not one of those people. She had no issue being the new girl and never appeared awkward, regardless of the circumstances. The new managers of Ellen were presented the nanny to the world of sports, and she was welcomed with open arms, bringing her closer to worldwide fame and fortune. Many golfers were interested in Ellen thanks to her stunning good looks and brains, and her new path led her to one of the most successful golfers in the world, Tiger Woods. Like the other golfers that met Ellen, the combination of her attractiveness and her charm captivated Tiger Woods. At the time that the pair first met, Ellen was already in a relationship with another person, so Ellen did the right thing and declined the golf champion's invitation to go on a date. Tiger was smitten with Ellen, and he did not accept no for an answer. He asked the nanny out for more than a year before his persistence finally paid off. Ellen's bosses introduced her to Tiger at the British Open, and this was the beginning of a path that would eventually make them both known all over the world, both in positive and negative ways. Despite the fact that Mia Parnevik and her husband were unaware of the existence of the tiger, she felt sorry about introducing Ellen to the animal. However, she shouldn't feel too guilty about it. Been a cheater on a regular basis during the time. The story involving Tiger's adultery was met with disbelief from his friends, fans, and fellow golfers when it was first reported. The proposal when Ellen finally agreed to go out with Tiger, things progressed quickly and the couple went on multiple whirlwind dates that you'd only see in fairy tales. In 2003, when the couple was vacationing at Shamwari Game Reserve in South Africa, Tiger asked Ellen and Miriam. Ellen was thrilled when Tiger proposed and believed she finally found her happily ever after, but she had no idea that there was a significant Amount of heartbreak in her future. The wedding of the year. The couple married on October 19, 2004 at the luxury resort called Sandy Lane Complex in Barbados. The wedding was beautiful and how most little girls imagined their weddings to be like. One day the resort has 110 rooms and 3 golf courses and Tiger rented the entire place for 7 days. The bill was almost $2 million and Tiger spared no expense to give his future wife the wedding of her dreams, a supportive wife. There's a saying that behind every great man is a woman, which was true in the couple's relationship. Ellen was by Tiger's side when he won the 2005 Masters, and she had a favorable influence on everything her husband did. When he was asked about his marriage, Tiger told reporters that he and Ellen had a solid marriage and they handled problems with the same professionalism as they would with a work issue. The couple was happy and seemed rock solid, and Ellen was on top of the world. Their first child. 3 years into their loving marriage, the couple welcomed their first child, a daughter named Sam Alexis. The baby was born a day after Tiger finished second in the US Open and things seemed to be going great. Their marriage was rock solid. They started a family and the world watched the happy couple with envy as they appeared to have a perfect life. Their second child. 2 years after Sam was born, Tiger and Ellen welcomed a baby boy named Charlie Axel on September 2, 2008. Ellen had everything at the time: a loving husband, 2 beautiful children, a beautiful home, and well, the media never seemed to get tired of sharing stories about the happy family. The pieces were falling into place for the family, but the couple's life wasn't perfect, and they had some serious bumps in the road, beginning with the time that Tiger was involved in an accident that could have been fatal. A critical collision involving a motor vehicle. On the day of Thanksgiving in 2009, Tiger was involved in a serious car accident that resulted in the destruction of his vehicle and had the potential to result in his death. The golfer was transported to the hospital when he lost consciousness as a result of the combination of sleeping drugs and painkillers that he had taken earlier in the day. He was in and out of consciousness due to the combination of these medications. A vehicle accident took place immediately after Ellen learned of Tiger's numerous affairs, and it is most likely that this was the reason he lost his temper and took the medication that led to his crashing his car. The confession. It wasn't long before the news of Tiger's extramarital affair became public. The revelation of Tiger's affairs drove Tiger's family, fellow golfers, and the entire globe into a frenzy. A waitress claimed to have had an affair with the golfer for 3 years, and the media went absolutely crazy over it. Tiger made the admission that he had been having an affair, and he went on to announce that he would be taking an extended hiatus from golfing in order to concentrate on repairing his marriage. Public reaction was split, with some expressing their support while others were disappointed, and the scandal rocked the sports and entertainment industries trying to make it work. Tiger was willing to do whatever it took to repair his broken marriage and went to Pine Grove Behavioral Health and Addiction Services. It's a facility in Mississippi that offers rehab programs for sex addiction. It was the first step of many in Tiger's quest for redemption. Many people, including Tiger, hoped for a happy ending, and Tiger's decision to get help was commendable, but it came too late. By this point the damage was too significant and the infidelity was too painful and humiliating for Ellen to ignore. Too little too late. Despite his efforts, Tiger wasn't able to save his marriage. The fact that their lives were talking points on news and sports programs didn't help. The couple filed for divorce in August 23, 2010 at the Bay County Circuit Court in Panama, Florida, citing irreconcilable differences. Excellent legal team, and her twin sister was her secret weapon. While the divorce was taking place in the public eye, Ellen and Tiger were not afforded the privacy that the majority of couples require during difficult times. $100 million. It was a triumph for the dissatisfied wife, but it was a painful victory after the divorce. Tiger was forced to pay Ellen $100 million, and it was one of the most costly divorce settlements in the history of the world. Ellen's fairy tale may have come to an end, but she did not walk away empty-handed. Ellen desired a life away from the limelight so that she might have the opportunity to recuperate. She attempted to get away from the negative memories, and she was sick of her life being the subject of the most recent news article. The model desired to heal in privacy and establish a calm existence for herself in order to get her life back on track. Ellen remained silent for 4 years after the scandal and refused to make a statement or sit for interviews about her failed marriage to Tiger. Many people agreed with her decision considering how high-profile and scandalous the divorce had been. In 2014, Ellen finally broke her silence. She shared the struggles of the most painful time in her life and admitted her children came first and everything the model did was for her children. She needed help. Ellen stated that she needed to seek professional assistance in order to cope with the anger and pain that she experienced as a result of her ex-spouse's betrayal. For a period of time, she was unable to believe that her marriage had such a tragic ending. Even though Ellen received a fortune in the divorce, it did make up for the pain that Tiger had caused. The money helped to create a nice, comfortable life for her children, but the money didn't solve all of her problems, and she worked with a psychologist to work with the trauma and pain she went through. College. Ellen knew that she couldn't wallow in self-pity forever, and she had to be a good example for her children and decided to go to college. She graduated with honors in 2014 and earned her psychology degree. Finishing college proved that a princess in distress can save herself without the help of a handsome prince. Ellen was asked to speak during the graduation ceremony, and she stood up and delivered her speech despite the scandal that had resulted from the fact that her marriage had become. This was a significant step in Ellen's recovery, and she was a shining example for her fellow students. The mansion owned by Ellen. Some of the money that Ellen received from the settlement of her divorce was utilized to purchase a mansion in Florida that cost $12 million. The house was constructed in the 1920s and required a great deal of renovation. In accordance with the recommendations of her architect, Ellen opted to have the house demolished and construct a brand new residence. Ellen understood that there were many things in the house that Habitat for Humanity could use, so she gave the charity workers permission to rescue anything they could. The group auctioned off a fountain that was worth $3.7 million and featured a lion's head, wine coolers, a refrigerator, and furniture. Ellen constructed her mansion, which had 11 bedrooms and 15 bathrooms, and she finally managed to have a happy ending, despite the fact that it was not the one she had anticipated when she married Tiger. The life of Tiger. Ellen received the majority of the public's sympathies, while Tiger battled with the criticism and pressure that was placed on him. Tiger's memoir Unprecedented: The Masters in Me was released in 2017, and he shared his thoughts on his marriage and betrayal in the book. Tiger wrote that he and Ellen were very much in love when they married in 2004, but his betrayal and selfishness caused his ex intense pain. He noted that although they tried to save the marriage, the damage he had done made that impossible. It was nice to see Tiger take responsibility. Best friends. Despite the pain and betrayal, the couple remained civil for the children. Over time, civility turned to friendship, and today Tiger says they're best friends. He says he can call Ellen for advice and she does the same. They also talk about parenting issues together before making any decisions. This shows what an amazing woman Ellen is, that she could let go of the past and have a great relationship with Tiger for her children's sake. Where is Ellen today? Ellen started dating NFL player Jordan Cameron, who's 9 years younger than Ellen. The couple had a low-profile relationship for a while until Ellen made a stunning announcement during the year 2019. Ellen made the announcement that she and Jordan were expecting a child. In October of the same year, she gave birth to her third child, a son called Arthur. Ellen is currently enjoying a joyful life with Jordan, her 3 children, and her friendship. Tiger Woods and ex-wife Ellen Nordegren hug nearly 15 years after infamous divorce. In a moment that stunned onlookers and brought an unexpected wave of emotion across the sports world, Tiger Woods and his ex-wife Ellen Nordegren were seen sharing a warm, genuine hug nearly 15 years after their high-profile and deeply painful divorce. The brief but unmistakably affectionate embrace, captured during a quiet family moment at their son Charlie's golf event, instantly reignited global conversation about healing, forgiveness, and the extraordinary journey both have traveled since their marriage imploded in 2009. For many, the image felt almost surreal. The world remembers too vividly the headlines that once engulfed them, a media storm so intense that it nearly overshadowed Woods' monumental achievements as one of the greatest golfers in history. Their split was marked by scandal, heartbreak, silence, and a level of scrutiny few couples on earth have had to endure. Yet on this day, standing beneath the Florida sun, the pair looked less like former spouses haunted by the past and more like 2 parents who found peace after walking through fire. Witnesses say the moment unfolded naturally and without fanfare. Ellen, usually reserved and private, appeared relaxed as she approached Tiger near the practice green. Woods, who had been talking with Charlie and a small group of young players, turned and smiled. What happened next was both simple and profound. She stepped forward, he opened his arms, and they embraced like two people who had finally arrived at a destination they weren't sure they would ever reach. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't scripted. It was a human moment that felt genuine to its core. For a couple whose story has been dissected endlessly, every fracture, every misstep, every rumor, the hug instantly became symbolic. It wasn't romance, insiders say, it was closure turning into connection, the past releasing its grip, and two adults demonstrating a model of maturity rarely seen in the aftermath of such public heartbreak. In that instant, the world was reminded that the journey to forgiveness can be long, non-linear, and complex, but not impossible. Woods and Nordegren have spent years rebuilding a harmonious co-parenting relationship, though they have rarely displayed open affection in public. Those close to the family say the hug was not a sudden breakthrough but the culmination of years of steady healing. After their marriage ended, they focused on raising their two children, daughter Sam and son Charlie, quietly and intentionally, away from cameras and noise. While the world speculated, the pair worked privately to rebuild trust, establish boundaries, and separate the past from the present. The hug seen around the globe is proof of how far they've come. Ellen, once engulfed by betrayal and unimaginable public humiliation, has long since forged her own path. Quietly completing her education, starting a new family, and maintaining a remarkably grounded presence, she has become known for her strength, resilience, and refusal to capitalize on scandal. Tiger, meanwhile, has experienced one of the most dramatic arcs in sports history. His career nearly collapsed not once but multiple times, from scandal to devastating injuries to a near-fatal car crash. Yet through it all, he has repeatedly credited his children and his renewed relationship with Ellen as sources of stability and motivation. Some who witnessed the moment described Tiger as emotional afterward, even if he tried to hide it. Those close to him say that in recent years he has expressed deep gratitude for Ellen's forgiveness and support, especially during the long recovery after his 2021 car accident. She was one of the first to visit, one of the few who stayed consistent, and one of the strongest voices encouraging him to slow down and heal correctly. Their hug, then, wasn't just about the past, it was about the present and the future, a sign that everything they've built over the last decade stands stronger than the storm that tore them apart. As the world began reacting to the images, social media exploded with messages of surprise, admiration, and emotional disbelief. Fans who once witnessed the unraveling of their marriage now found themselves celebrating a reunion defined not by romance but by maturity. Commentators across sports and entertainment noted that their moment provided a rare and refreshing example of co-parents choosing grace over resentment. Psychologists and cultural observers quickly weighed in, calling the hug a powerful lesson in forgiveness. In a world often fueled by outrage, grudges, and public feuds, the image of Tiger and Ellen embracing represented something restorative. Here were two people with immense fame, immense pressure, and a once broken bond demonstrating that healing is a process, not a performance. Their reunion wasn't about rewriting the past, but about writing a better future for their children, and for themselves. Even within the golf community, the moment resonated deeply. Many longtime players and commentators recall the shadow that fell over Tiger after his marriage collapse. The scandal disrupted not just his personal life but the sport itself, leading to one of the most dramatic declines, and eventual comebacks, in professional golf. To see him and Ellen in such a peaceful moment carried a weight that only those who remember that era can fully appreciate. One longtime PGA insider described it as, the last chapter in a book nobody knew was still being written. Friends close to the family describe Woods and Nordegren today as better communicators, healthier individuals, and partners in parenting who genuinely respect one another. While they do not spend unnecessary time together, they remain deeply aligned in raising their children with stability and love. They attend events, share milestones, and speak with a warmth that would have seemed impossible during the darkest days of their split. That is what made the hug feel so extraordinary. It was a public glimpse of a private peace long in the making. For Tiger, who has invested years into rebuilding both his personal life and public reputation, the moment felt almost symbolic of the broader redemption arc that has defined the latter half of his career. His relationship with his children is at the center of everything he does today, and his renewed friendship with Ellen has provided a foundation from which he has rebuilt his life. For Ellen, the hug showed the world something she has quietly lived for years. She and Tiger are no longer defined by their past. She has moved forward with grace, creating a life marked by privacy, family, and authenticity. Her ability to forgive, not in a performative sense, but in a profound one, has often been cited as one of the most inspiring elements of their post-divorce story. As the photos continued circulating, many marveled that this moment came not at a glamorous gala, a media event, or an orchestrated public appearance, but at their son's golf tournament. It was fitting. Tiger and Ellen have always agreed that their children would come first, and it was in the setting of supporting Charlie, a rising young golfer eager to carve his own path, that they displayed unity in its purest form. Observers also noted how natural the children seemed around their parents, a sign of many years spent cultivating a healthy, loving environment. Charlie in particular, who shares Tiger's athleticism and competitive spirit, appeared unfazed by the cameras and crowd, focusing instead on his game. Those close to Tiger say his greatest joy in recent years has been watching his children grow, and that moments like this, simple, unplanned, and full of warmth, mean far more to him than any trophy. In the aftermath of the images going viral, representatives for both Tiger and Ellen declined formal comment, consistent with their long-standing commitment to keeping family matters private. But sources near the family emphasized that the moment should not be misconstrued as romantic reconciliation. Instead, they insist, it was the natural expression of two people who have weathered the storm and emerged not as enemies, and not as strangers, but as something far more rare, friends, allies, and partners in the shared mission of raising two remarkable children. Even so, the world could not help but feel the emotional weight of the hug. It carried memories of the past, echoes of pain, and the unmistakable presence of forgiveness. It reminded millions that the road to healing is rarely straight, rarely easy, and rarely quick. But it is possible. It is real. And sometimes it arrives not with announcement or ceremony, but with a simple embrace between two people who once walked through heartbreak and came out the other side wiser, stronger, and kinder. For Tiger Woods and Ellen Nordegren, this moment will likely be remembered not as a rekindling of old flames, but as the culmination of a long, hard-earned peace. Their story has been written in headlines, whispered in gossip, dissected by experts, and dramatized by the public for more than a decade. Yet the image of their hug may become the most meaningful chapter of all, not because it erases the past, but because it honors the human capacity to grow beyond it. And so, nearly 15 years after their turbulent divorce captured the world's attention, Tiger Woods and Ellen Nordegren stood together, calm, comfortable, and united in their shared love for their children. There were no speeches. No statements. No flashing smiles for the cameras. Just two parents who found a moment of grace in a place where their story once seemed broken beyond repair. In that quiet, powerful embrace, they didn't rewrite their past. They simply reminded the world that even the deepest wounds can heal, and that sometimes the most extraordinary moments are the ones born from forgiveness.